Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla, and this is where we talk about project management, freelancing, building businesses. There's all kinds of fun stuff happening here. And if you haven't already, I would love to invite you to subscribe. Okay, on to today's topic. Today I am going to answer a question that so many of you are asking, and that is, what is freelance project management? I'm going to walk you through, in my experience, what my description of freelance project management is, what are some accompanying job titles and skill sets that will make it clear if you are a freelance project manager or would excel as a freelance project manager, what are some of the different work models and arrangements that freelance project managers have and the types of work that go along with that, and then finally, why would someone want to be a freelance project manager? We're going to cover it all in this video, and I'm going to do it pretty quickly too. So let's get started. Okay, the other day I made a LinkedIn post, and in the post I just gave my description of, in my experience, what a freelance project manager is. And here's what I said. I said a freelance project manager is a person who completes work outside of a 9-to-5 arrangement by leading with their project management skills. Okay, this is pretty simple. We know what freelancing is. Freelancing means you work for yourself, you find your own work, right? You're not employed by anyone else in a full-time capacity. So a freelance project manager is a person who works for themselves, finds their own work, and they use project management skills to deliver that work. And I'm going to get into that a little bit further, what those skills might be. If you're a person who is thinking, I might be good at this, or I think I could do this, or maybe I do already do this, I'm going to walk you through some of the skills that are really key in freelance project management. But before I do that, I just want to cover a few other terms that you might be hearing instead of the word freelance or along with the word freelance, because there are a lot of different ways that people are describing this sort of lifestyle now, this solo person, work for yourself lifestyle. Freelancing is one of the most common words. It's been around for a while. Most of us know what freelancing is. But as with everything, there are new ways of describing these things now. And for some people, freelancing just doesn't have, the zing or the pop that some of the newer terms have. So I want to talk with you about these newer terms, what they might mean, and what some of the differences are. Okay, so one of the words I want to cover is solopreneur. This is a really popular word right now. All it means is one person who is building a business. So you could be a freelancer and a solopreneur. You probably are. Now, solopreneurs don't always have clients like a freelance project manager might have a client. Solopreneurs might be creating digital products or something like that. So there could be some differences there. But if you are a solo person building a business, then you could probably call yourself a solopreneur. If you have employees or multiple people working for you, then you're an entrepreneur. That's the difference there. The other word I want to touch on is consultant, because often this is used interchangeably with a freelancer, and there is a little bit of a difference. A consultant is a person who is hired to solve a problem. A consultant is a person who usually gives recommendations, but may not actually get in there and do the work. A freelance project manager who is managing projects for, let's say, agencies, who's actually doing the day-to-day work of managing the projects, is probably not a consultant. So there is a little bit of a difference there, and you're going to want to be clear on what those terms mean for you and your clients, your prospects, the type of work that you do, because having a shared language to understand these nuances is really important. Okay, the last word I want to touch on is the most recent development in this whole world of solo employment, and that is the word fractional. This is really becoming a buzzword. Fractional is just to take on fraction. It just means part of something, okay? You may hear this most commonly when people call themselves fractional CFOs or COOs. This is a work arrangement that makes sense for usually a smaller business that doesn't have the budget or the need to hire someone in a full-time capacity to be that C-suite person or to be that executive or director level person. So they hire someone maybe for 20 hours a week to be that fractional CFO or CEO. And the person who is performing that fractional work then has their bandwidth opened up to where they could maybe take on 3 or 4 of these different clients and create multiple income streams for themselves and design a work life how they want to. So that is the word fractional. Now, the interesting thing is that all of those things could also be freelance. You could be a freelance consultant, you could be freelance and fractional, you could be freelance and a solopreneur. So there is some overlap there, but just getting clear on what each of those words means and the nuances and how you might use those with your clients or people that you work with is important. Okay, the next thing I want to touch on is a big question that I'm asked, and that is, to be a freelance project manager, do I have to have a project manager job title? And the answer is no. To be a freelance project manager, you need to be skilled in project management. But many of us know by now that there are a lot of people who are accidental project managers, who are project managers and don't even know it, who are project managers without the job title. There are so many people out there doing project management work and not actually called project managers. The important thing is that you are able to identify project management elements in your previous work. Now, if you are a person who has never had the project manager job title and you want to be a freelance project manager, there are some job titles that are more correspondent with project manager than others. And I want to just share a few of those with you to get your juices flowing here. So you might have had a job title like project coordinator or project analyst, project specialist, implementation specialist or manager. That's a big one. Operations manager, business analyst, change specialist or manager, client liaison, client manager. That gets into stakeholder management. So all of those job titles, they have a lot of overlap and a lot of elements of project management to them. So you do not have to have that project manager job title to develop a career path as a freelance project manager, but you do need to have appropriate and relevant experience in project management that translates to the type of work you're seeking and the type of industry, organizations, and clients that you want to work with. And one way that you could figure out if you have the right formula here is to do a skill audit or go back and audit your experience and then do a skill gap analysis. Now, this is something that I walk you through in my Freelance Project Manager guidebook and course. And we also walk through this in my one-on-one coaching and strategy sessions. But you could do this on your own. You could go back and audit your experience and really dive in there and figure out, okay, where was I doing project work? What kind of project work was I doing? And what sort of skills was I utilizing? And where is there a gap in between what is necessary for me to market myself and what I actually have? Now, I'm going to give you a checklist of things that you can look for that are really important to have as foundational for your freelance project manager work. And they are project initiation and planning, tracking budget, time, and resources, risk management, influencing without authority, stakeholder relationship management, self-management, and leadership behavior. Now, these are all important elements of project management, and if you're nodding your head in agreement with me and you're like, oh yeah, I have all of those things, those are easy for me to check off and say yes to, then you are doing good, and freelance project management might be a good path for you if that's something that you want to pursue. If there are a few of those where you're like, ooh, I really need more experience there, or I need to level up, I need some more knowledge, then make note of those and create a roadmap for yourself so you can go out there and level up and develop the skill set that is appropriate for you to start marketing yourself and landing freelance project management clients. Okay, now another big question that I get asked from people is, what does this look like? Like, what does your day-to-day look like? How can I set up my work? And I gotta tell you, it's all across the board. I know freelance project managers who have left their full-time positions because they want to put 60 or 80 hours a week into their freelance business. I know others who are just doing freelance project management as a side hustle. Maybe they have one client and they do work in the evenings or on the weekends. Other folks I know do this on a part-time capacity so that they could spend more time with their kids, more time with their family, just have more flexibility in life to do traveling or whatever it is. Some people do this because they want to build a bigger business. Like there's a bigger play ahead and there's some strategy there. That's what I'm doing. So there are all different ways that we can create this model for ourselves, a model that is going to complement our lifestyle and work for us. But you have to be the one to decide what makes sense for you at this phase in your life, at this chapter. What makes sense for you? Is it a full-time thing? Is it a part-time thing? Is it a side hustle thing? What do you need financially? What do you need time commitment wise? These are questions that you have to answer, but the good news is there's a lot of flexibility out there. Now, another big question I get asked is, okay, so what type of work could I do? We know some of the skills that are important, but what about some of the work that I could do? What are some examples of different types of work that I could do? And I have to say, there's a lot of different types of work that we could do as well. And I have done a lot of these. I'm going to read you a list, and I have done a lot of these things. Again, we mentioned fractional consulting services. We mentioned actually managing projects, technical project management, managing projects for agencies. This is a great way to get started in freelance project management. You could also do, project assistance and support if you aren't like fully skilled in the more advanced project management. That's a good place for you to start. You could do training programs. I see this a lot. Project managers who develop training programs around specific methodologies, around specific frameworks, around specific tools or systems, and they create training programs. And that's what they do, is they go out and they train teams. So that's a really cool thing that you could do. Implementation management services. I know other freelance project managers who have created services around implementing certain tools or certain methods. And that's what they do, is they go around to different organizations and they actually implement these things. So that's another thing. If that's your passion, if you love that, if you're really skilled there, that might be a good fit for you. Stakeholder management, client management, that's another good one, especially if you're just getting started and you really want to learn that side of things. We know stakeholder management is one of the top skills. We need to be good at that. We need to excel. So that's a great one if you don't have those skills yet, to sort of level up in that area. Like I said, I've done a lot of these, and it really just depends on what level you're at, what type of work you're looking for, what type of client you want to get into. All of this stuff, which I've already said before in the video, and are things that I help you figure out in one-on-one coaching and strategy sessions, as well as my freelance guide and course. Finally, why would a person want to do this versus a 9-to-5? Lots of reasons again, but the number one reason I hear is flexibility. People want to have more ownership over their time, when they're working, where they're working. This is a big draw to the freelance lifestyle. Some people are just ready for a change. They want to try something new. It's time for a new chapter. That is another reason. Some people want to level up their skills. I have to tell you, being a freelance project manager will level you up fast if you are landing more and more challenging type of work over time. I think I have had more personal development in 1 year as a freelancer than probably 5 years as a full-time employee. It's been insane, and this is my 4th year. I have consistently leveled up each and every month. I'm learning something new. I am working on different projects, things like that. Another big reason why people like this type of work, they like the freelance project management work, is because we have more autonomy over the types of projects, the types of clients, what kind of work we're doing. If you're a very purpose-focused person, then you can, create a path for yourself where you're doing more of that kind of work than like the sloggish type of work that you might have done in corporate. So another big draw to the freelance lifestyle. Again, it just depends on where you're at and what you're looking for, but the good news is there are so many opportunities out there. And if you are interested in going down this path, if you have more questions, I have tons of resources out there on my YouTube channel, on LinkedIn, on my website. As I said, I'm available for one-on-one strategy sessions and coaching, and my freelance project manager guide and course is also available. I am going to link all of that below the video, and you can find me on my website at KaylaMcGuire.com. If you have any questions, please do add a comment to this video, reach out on my website. I would love to hear from you. Hope this helped, and I will see you next time. Bye.